Hey everybody, it's Matthew, also known as Mr. Domestic, here with a two-part video series on making a woven chevron stocking. Now this video is devoted solely to the weaving, so if you don't want to weave or aren't curious at all, then this isn't the video for you. I would skip to video number 2 on the construction of the stocking. But this one is all about creating that magical weave. Ooh. So grab your fabric and your wefty and your foam board, then come along for the ride. So for the first step in this stocking, whenever you do any weave, you need to prepare the board. And I have a 20 by 30 Elmer's foam board. I think it's 3/8 thick. And then you'll need some Pellon. I like the Pellon SF101. It's woven interfacing. It's a medium weight, some kind of ruler that has a 45-degree angle on it. You'll need to have cut out the free template for the stocking and then a Sharpie. And ta-da! I have already traced the stocking for you here. Now I'm going to show you how I get started drawing the grid on point. I'll just start here, use this 45-degree angle, and then I'll draw this. I'll draw one. And then now I'm going to go 2 inches. Each of the strips, if you got the 1/4 inch right, which I mostly don't, is 1 inch. So I like to do a 2-inch grid on point. And this is just a guide, just to make sure that things are running parallel as you continue. And I won't show you all these. I'll fast forward a bit and get to the other side. Okay, now I'm to the other side, and then I just take the 45-degree angle. How do you do it? So this way goes this way. No. So, oh, flip it. That was funny to me. So put the 45-degree angle, get the first one. See how I just flipped it and then got the opposite. And this doesn't have to be a perfect opposite. And now go 2 inches the other way. I'll fast forward again. And this is the completed grid on point of the stocking. Now, next what you need to do is take your pins that you have. I love these red ergonomic pins. And you'll put the SF101 on top of this with the textured side facing up. And then just pin the corner of the board just to put this in place. See how I'm putting that right there? And try to make it semi-taut. So that it's flat. And why the texture side is on top is because one of the steps is you're going to fuse the weave on top of this. So now that you have this, the next step that I like to do anytime I'm doing any kind of curved is I'll retrace the outline of the shape. And this helps me create a stitch line once the weave is finished and secured, and then I'll stitch the stitch line to make sure that it's all in place. When I get to that step, you'll understand. So now your board is prepared. Ta-da! The next step in this woven stocking is preparing the strips, and I have all of them here to show you the process. But you'll need 2 different fabrics. You'll need a primary fabric and a secondary fabric, and you'll cut 10 of the primary fabric at 2 inches with the fabric, and then 10 of the secondary fabric 1 inch with the fabric. And it's an estimate of 10 depending on how you sew it, and how precise you are on the 1/4 inch will depend on whether it's 10 or 11 or 9. So once you have these, you're going to sew them together. I have a brief little video here to show you. See, I just sew one side down the length and the other side down the length, and then it turns into this. It's a tube, and I secured this end, and oh, my sewing room is starting to get into a mess. So I can't find my tube turner, which is an awesome little thing, but I found a pencil. And so I'll just put the pencil, I like the eraser here, and then to turn the tubes, I'll just stick, and the pencil happens to be the perfect length to get a width of fabric tube done. So this is inside out, using my pencil, and this seems to be working perfectly. for this project. Yay! Eventually I'll become a clean person. No, at 41 I'm thinking it's not gonna happen. And then ta-da! Now you have a right side out tube. And then from this, you want this to be on one side evenly, and then you'll press it like this. See how these are pressed? Use the steam iron, a little bit of best press. And I have 5 of these for the first layer of the weave. And so now you get your prepared board here. And essentially you are just going to do all of the weave strips going one direction. There's no weaving here, and then you bring your pins back. And I cut as you go with these instead of pre-measuring what the size of the strips are. And these, the first layer is going to go up. And so I'm just going to start here, and by up I mean the secondary fabric is going to go up. And then you'll just do all of these like that. And I'll do a couple in real time, and then I'll fast forward it so you don't have to watch me do the entire thing. And this is another tip that I do right here. I'll do a close-up video for you also so you can see, but right here I push the pin in straight down a little bit, and then I'll pull it away from what the weave is and then push it in, and it creates an angle to where this isn't going to move. If it was just straight, then it might move. And you don't want this to move. You want it to be a little bit more taut than natural, if that makes sense. Then here's the next one. And as you can see, it doesn't go against the line perfectly. This is just to make sure that it's parallel, because my stuff is never perfect. Like this probably is not a full inch. It's probably a little bit under an inch. And that's fine. It's still gonna be cute in the end. Don't have to be perfect. And now I'll fast forward so you don't have to see the whole thing. Now I'm almost to the end. Just a couple more to do. And the first layer of the weave is officially done. There's a little bit here, so I'll go ahead and put this excess here. And ta-da! Look at that! Layer 1 is complete. So this is layer 1 of your weave. The next thing you need to do is go grab your 1/2 inch wefty and the other 5 of your pressed strips, and then we're going to work on layer 2. Okay, so yes, I did say go get your 1/2 inch wefty, which is counterintuitive since these strips are about 1 inch, but I found whenever doing a grid, like a basic basket weave, since these are mine are slightly less than 1 inch, that it's just going to weave better with the smaller wefty, just with these tubes. But you can try it the other way. Try the other one. The other one might work best for you. And since these go up, to get the chevron, the next layer needs to go down. So I'm weaving it into the top of the wefty. You just pull it through like that. See? Now it's threaded. Threaded wefty! And start anywhere, really. And that's what the lines are for that you drew earlier. Going the other way, once this is through, then you just align this strip to one of the previous grid lines, and let's find it here. See, there's a grid line here, and that's where I'm going to align it to. And I'll go ahead and attach it to this one. I like to reuse a pin so I don't have multiple pins whenever I can. Then do the same technique. And then where is that strip? To see where the line is all the way through. Then it ends here at this point, and then I'll snip it. Double check, because this is going to be the starter point that all of the strips go for. And then there is the first strip going the other way. And this is going to be wild whenever you see the chevron unfold. Remember the first time I did this, like when I did this stuff, I didn't have any idea that I was going to create a chevron, and then I was just going with a thinner and thicker. Then whenever I did it, I was like, whoa, look at me. I'm a genius. I'm so smart. This is so cool. And now I get to share it with you. No, don't really think I'm a genius. I think I'm a big old goober. But weaving is fundamental. And I'm only going to do a couple of these, just like the other layer, so you can see. And then whenever you do a new strip, you're going to want to make sure that it butts up against the adjacent strip as close as possible, since it doesn't naturally do it like with the triaxial. And then I did this one, and then, ooh, you can see it starts to unfold, and it's really neat. And this is where I'll take this pen, and I'll just put it right here. I love weaving, in case you didn't know. Okay, and then I'll do just this one. And with the wefty, and you need to make sure that the wefty is up because it's curved slightly here so that it doesn't catch as you're going. Amazing invention from Tara, who is one of my dearest and sweetest and most awesome friends, and I love her. And then, see, this one was backwards. So I just flipped it. Flip it. Flip it. If you're a Niffle Mipple plan yet, y'all know what that's from. Missy Elliott in the house. Okay, so you can see the chevron starting to form. This is so cool. So you don't have to hear my bad singing skills. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward until I get to the end. Okay, I have made it to the last strip, and usually when I get to the last, I don't even weave it. I just cheat and get in here like this. And as you can see, it made a magical, magical chevron. And this is going to be a conversation starter stocking for definite. I think I might even keep this one up all year round because it's so rad. So, next, I'm going to show you how to set this and remove it from the board. So go grab your iron and your masking tape or washi tape and come right back. So now, this is the scary part. In the first couple weaves that I did, I was petrified to take it off the board. And it was before Tara and I had figured to put the interfacing underneath it. And I'm gonna show you this in real time so that you yourself are not gonna be scared. I have this iron on like a mid-high heat. And especially for these, don't go over the nail or the pen heads because you'll melt them because these are plastic. But just do this enough to where it's gonna set it temporarily. See, it's set. That's enough. Don't remove it yet though. The next thing that I like to do is I like to use tape. I'm in love with masking tape in the sewing room. And I just tape it and press around the perimeter. It doesn't have to look pretty. It just needs to keep everything there. This one's a little curved. And the combination of the masking tape and the steam iron is going to make this come off easy breezy, no problem. Nothing's gonna happen. If you're using washi tape, I've learned that some washi tape doesn't have enough tack to it. So just make sure that you have a super tacky, not like tacky, like it looks tacky, but tacky as in like it feels tacky. Okay, so I am gonna remove it now. Don't be scared. I'm taking out all the pins. See, I'm recording this, and I know that if this does not work, that I'm gonna have to do all of this over because you get one shot. So I'm pretty much telling you how confident I am that this is going to allow it to get removed without it falling to pieces. As long as you use that steam iron and use a tacky tape on the edges, either one of those by themselves would be enough to remove it from the board. But I just do both just for extra assurance that things are going to be good to go. Okay, and then take off these corner ones. Donk. Dunk, dunk. Are you scared? Are you scared? Nope, I'm not. Because now I can remove it. And the next thing that you're gonna do is take this, flip it over on an ironing board, and then press it again with a high heat steam iron just to secure this interfacing on there. And then from there, we're gonna head over to the sewing machine and I'll show you how I use this stitch line to secure the weave in place. So now I am at Felicia. If y'all don't know Felicia, it's my sewing machine. You need to name your machine, folks. So I have this, it's all done, it's set. I'm shaking it, it's not going anywhere because I steam pressed it. And now I have the weave facing down and I use this stitch line to secure it. And since the stitch line is where I want to cut it, this is actually the cut line, the stitch line is going to be right on the inside, like 1/8 of an inch. And have it go down, and here we go. I'm stitching right to the inside. See how I have that little line right there? And the needle is here, so it's right on the inside. This stitch line is going to be inside of the seam allowance of the stocking, so you won't even see it. And this secures it in place. So I'll fast forward now. Okay, now I have gone around the perimeter right on the inside, and I'm just gonna go over this a little bit. And two things I even forgot to do this, is to switch to a denim needle, because when it's really thick, and it'll keep it from skipping in the thread breaking. The thread broke a couple times, that's all that will happen. And just to be aware that it's gonna break. And then, see? Ta-da! Ta-da! Now it's all stitched. So now I'm gonna take this over to my cutting mat and show you how I prepared this and turn this into a textile that will be the most awesome, bombastic, amazing stocking you've ever seen. So now I'm at my cutting mat, see? Doop! It's there. And I have it weaved side down. And now I'm just gonna cut along that cut line. And just to make sure, I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch or a little bit more outside of where I stitched, and just cut. Now this, just so you know, might also be a painful experience, only because I remember the first couple weaves, like I just thought they were so beautiful, and the thought of cutting into it, like I just kind of like, I had a visceral like upset like experience about doing that. But just remember that you created a textile so that you can use. And it's okay to cut. It's totally okay. Dun, 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 dun. So now I've done all the straight lines, and I will do the curves. Curvalicious, yeah. Curvalicious, yeah. Make sure to cut away from yourself. Boom, boom, boom. Almost done. Ta-da! Yes! Yes, yes, yes. And now the last thing that you'll have to do is remove the tape. There's not a lot of tape here because the perimeter was so big, but it should just peel right off. Kind of like whenever you foundation paper piece. You could optionally have a shorter stitch length whenever you're doing the back, and then it'll come off really easily. But like this will still be inside the seam allowance whenever you sew it, so I just leave it, like people ain't gonna know. So yay! You have created yourself a magical textile using fabric weaving. I bet no one's gonna have a stocking like this in your block. Definitely going to start some conversations. So if you enjoyed this, got some laughs, learned some new stuff, just overall had some fun, make sure to give it the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Keep it positive, y'all. Mr. Domestic out. Thanks for watching my video. You can subscribe on the right, just click on my face and watch some of my other videos on the left.